What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are back with the Belgian Grand Prix for Season 4 of F1 2019 Career Mode. You can see we're only 4 points behind Devin Butler in the second Ferrari, so that is what is at play for the rest of the season, trying to catch those bloody Ferraris. We're heading into this race. You can see we've got a whole buttload worth of upgrades heading our way. We have a ultimate turbo pressure upgrade, which gives us extra power for the power unit. We had a major rear downforce upgrade. We also had a DRS upgrade go on the car, I believe. However, there was something else which didn't go on the car. I believe that was front downforce. So unfortunately, an upgrade which would have been quite handy for this race isn't going to go on the car. So the car is going to be massively stable in terms of the aero balance, but I guess that's not a bad thing. But anyway, here we are for the Belgian Grand Prix. I've got my sights aimed very high for this weekend. A lot of upgrades coming in, like I said, but this is a track that should hopefully suit us. I don't feel like the AI are overly unbeatable around here, so I'm hoping that we can have a good round at this racetrack. You can see in practice I was just mucking about racing in chase camera. I'm thinking about doing a challenge online, seeing if I can win a race in chase cam. That'll be interesting. But anyway, Danny Kvyat beats us while racing in chase cam. So that's... No, we didn't do chase cam the whole session. We just did it for track acclimatization. But regardless, Danny showed solid pace in practice, and I'm hoping that with a better package under him, he can start to really unlock the potential within himself and also his car. So, yeah, we'll see how this weekend pans out. I hope that Hungary was a turning point, a major turning point for our career mode series. We had a breakthrough race after what was a shambolic qualifying, but we came through and got our best result of the season. Check out that race if you haven't seen it already. But, you know, with that result, with the upgrades that we've got coming in and the races we've got in the future and even more upgrades I've got planned in the pipeline, I feel like this should hopefully be the start of Phase 2 of this Toro Rosso. But we'll wait and see. Time for quali.
It's qualifying time at Spa, one of the mightiest tracks on the Formula One calendar. Long straights, up and downhill, Eau Rouge as well. This track isn't for the faint-hearted.
It certainly is not. Welcome to qualifying. We're going to see if we can get through here with just 2 sets of tyres. Maybe even 1 if we're lucky, but we'll wait and see. Basically doing that. I'm basically just waiting and seeing what everyone else can do. We're going to follow on board with Lucas Weber here. I just wanted to follow on board and just be that, you know, parrot on his shoulder, just watching his onboards and see if I could learn anything. I have learned that the Haas drivers are absolute pillocks and like to get in the way. Doesn't stop Lucas Weber, though, from progressing into the next session. He gets P8. Even with that time and getting held up massively, I still think he'll be alright with that time. 1 minute 40.4. We're going to go out now. About halfway through the session, about 10 minutes to go. The track has rubbered in somewhat, and hopefully it is enough for us to, if we're really lucky, get through just on this 1 lap. But I would imagine that we'd need more than 1 go at this. One thing that's on our side, though, at this point of the season is we've got a lot of power units, a lot of fresh ones, and so we could afford to throw almost a new power unit at a racetrack every single time we roll up to a new circuit. It's not brand new, but it's less than like 10%. The majority of all of our engines are in that kind of range, which is absolutely crazy. But first lap is done. I think it put us P13. Danny is sitting quite well at the moment in P15, only a couple of tenths behind me as well. So things are looking pretty good at this stage for Toro Rosso. It looks like, yes, this could be the turning point. We're still last on the performance index, but in the real world, I don't feel like we're last anymore. I feel like Mercedes has that crown to themselves, especially this circuit where their car just doesn't suit this place. I think they're down massively on straight line speed. I checked the Mercedes and they were the slowest in the speed traps, whereas I was actually one of the fastest, and I think I was the fastest in the speed traps. So that made me question my whole mentality over the downforce that I had. I think I was running 3.6 wings, but at some point I upped it to 4.6. Might not have been for this particular lap, but when we get into Q2, that is a bit of a spoiler. But Q2, I definitely put the front wing up by 1 click. Anyway, we're 4/10 up at this point on a 1 minute 40.6. I mean, if I'm 4/10 up, and I'm already in P14, there's a good chance I'm going to get myself through to the next session anyway. It's not a big spoiler. Bus stop chicane, mounting the first part of the curb, which opens up the radius for the second part, and we get a nice exit. Nearly 5/10 up as we cross the line. Where does it put us? Wow, P6. That is a phenomenal opening qualifying session. We are through to the next session easily with a 1 minute 40.1. My teammate has gone slower. He's gone slower than the time that he set like halfway through the session. I don't understand that. Look at this. Danny has done a 1 minute 40.728. I've got a 1 minute 40.612. That was with 4 minutes to go in the session. I'm going to show you that this is the same session. I haven't restarted. There's my 1 minute 40.612. There's no way I'd be able to replicate that lap twice in 2 different sessions. So I'm just proving to you guys that this is the exact same session. But for some reason, the game has made Danny Kvyat's time go 1 second slower than what he had halfway through the session. I don't know what this glitch is, but it's cost my teammate a spot in Q2. It really has. Not only did he go slower, or not only did he not improve his time, but he's gone slower. He could have gone faster if he had another run at it at the end of the session like I did. And that could have been 2 Toro Rossos past Q1. Which is annoying. But anyway, Q2, I replicated the time that I did, 1 minute 40.1. So I feel like that might have been the maximum I could have got out of the car. It puts us P13 for Q2. It looks like the AI did step it up in that next session. And we just weren't able to carry that same form. We still have to be realistic somewhat. But heading into the race, anything's possible. I feel like we get some points on mediums. Hell, hopefully my teammate can come through too.
All right, I think we can call that a successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
Who doesn't love the Belgian Grand Prix? It's the race, of course, that gave maiden pole positions to the Jordan and Force India teams, with Rubens Barrichello and Giancarlo Fisichella respectively. Jordan, of course, would then go on to better that here in 1998 with their first ever victory. And you can guarantee that something special will always happen at Spa-Francorchamps. But what that something is today is anybody's guess. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Day. That was a solid result in their last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
Okay, don't worry about making places into one, it's far too tight. Concentrate on a clean exit so you get good momentum down the Camel Straight.
Cheers, Jeff. Here we are on the grid of the Belgian Grand Prix. We've been promoted up 2 spots. I believe Sebastian Vettel had a grid penalty. Someone else did as well, but I can't quite remember. We have Devin Butler starting on pole position, which is absolutely ridiculous, considering I think Lewis Hamilton got out-qualified by us. So a massive disparity there for the 2 Ferraris. The whole realistic grid simulation glitch hasn't reared its ugly head in a long time, and it looks like it has today because the Ferrari is not pole position pace. Not in this era of Formula 1 anyway. Away we go for the Belgian Grand Prix, and we immediately lose a spot to Raikkonen and Pierre Gasly, who goes full send into turn 1. He is not leaving anything on the table, it seems, at this Grand Prix. A bit of a wayward exit out of turn 1. Stroll nearly hits the old pit wall on the right-hand side, and we are following him through for P12. I'm still running with 4.6 wings, so initially on this first lap, the car was a little bit oversteering on cold tyres. Nearly lost it on the run-up Radeon. We're squeezing Stroll to the inside, probably giving him a bit of a harsh treatment there, but this is for sheep stations on this first lap. I want to make sure I can give myself the best chance of getting some points today, because we really feel like it's on today, especially with this strategy. If we can cling on to these guys who are on their soft compound tyres, we're starting on mediums, and we're set to finish the race on softs. We're going to be absolutely charging at these guys like a bull in a crowd of people with red shirts on. That's what the end of the Grand Prix is going to be like for us. So let's see if we can make this work for us. We're losing the slipstream advantage at this stage. We quickly close that in as we head into the bus stop for the first time of 22 laps, actually giving Sergio Perez a bit of a rub on the left rear tyre. Here's the replay. bit of a shark bite out of the front right end plate, which is, that's not even the end plate, it's like the bottom of, it's like the floor of the front wing. I'm sorry, I'm not really clued in with each specific component, but I'm just going to say the end plate, the bottom part of the end plate, I suppose. Hopefully that doesn't do anything to our car downforce wise. You can see we're defending now from Lance Stroll. He clatters into the side of Kimi Räikkönen, and I tell you what, that will do some front wing damage. As you can see, his complete front right end plate is gone, and so he might be having an early pit stop today in this race. He could soldier on and stay out and stick to the one-stop strategy, but that is going to be a rough afternoon for Räikkönen now. He might have been the guy who had a grid penalty himself as well, because the Alfa Romeo was pretty quick in this field. So I would imagine that he would be the other driver that I am talking about. Caution up ahead, lap 3. You can see, I don't know if it's behind or in front of me. It looks like it's in front of me. I think it's a McLaren. It is Lando Norris, who is out of the Grand Prix. You can see we had to avoid massively to the outside. Here's the onboard with Lando.
Losing power. I'm losing power. It's going.
Okay, keep going. Safety car. Keep going for now.
I can't. It's broken. It's broken. Anti-stalled. It's off. Fuck!
Oh man, Lando is absolutely fuming. I've lost a lot of ground as well. Down the Camel Straight, I just had a horrible exit because I had a little excursion there. Lost 2 places to Räikkönen and Sebastian Vettel, 2 quick guys in this field, and now we're going to lose a spot to Sainz. But really unfortunate for Lando Norris. The McLaren has recently had some upgrades and they're finally starting to get their act together, and Lando is out of the race. Just absolutely feel for the guy. But his demise is our beneficiary, I suppose. That's the replay of us nearly smacking into the wall. That's the onboard. That was very scary. I had no idea. I actually thought at the time when I was racing that the yellow flag was behind me. I was not expecting someone in front of me to slow down, especially at the top of Radion. Lucky to get away with that by all accounts. Just no damage, and not even get a warning for having a big track extension for that part of the circuit. But you've got to expect the stewards to be a little bit lenient, considering there was a car going very slowly at a very high speed section of the track. But anyway, lap 4. Here comes Carlos Sainz up the inside into the middle sector. It didn't have a great run out of Lecom in that whole section there, and then just a bad moment there. This is another bad couple of corners. Gives Lewis Hamilton a bit of a run here as we head into Pouhon, having to defend to the inside and having a bit of a compromised run. It's allowing Carlos Sainz to get away. This has been a very frustrating lap or so in this Belgian Grand Prix. It all spurred from Lando Norris just retiring, didn't it? It just put me on the back foot, and now I'm just getting constantly attacked by everyone. I can't get back into my natural rhythm, which is really annoying, because this is actually the crossover point between the softs being slower now than the mediums. This is the part of the race where we should really be making inroads, and we don't seem to be making that at the moment. This is the battle just up the road. Räikkönen looking for an avenue past Sergio Perez and Sebastian Vettel. The Racing Point is pinched on the inside, loses 2 spots, and Vettel looks like it's going to be the big beneficiary out of all of this. He just needs to clear Sergio Perez. Can't quite do it. He's going to have to wait a little bit longer for that move to stick. But anyway, here comes Carlos Sainz on the back straight into Blanchimont, putting Kimi Räikkönen under a lot of pressure. They're both going to go defensive, and I'm going to go clean around the outside here with my fully functioning front wing, something which Kimi seems to be lacking at the moment. That is a horrible exit again. Out of the final corner. Another yellow flag. It's in front of me. It's Lance Stroll. My goodness. That's 2 cars now in like 4 laps that we've had to dodge. Here comes Carlos Sainz up the inside, giving me no space. Track limits warning for that. Thank you very much, stewards. Safety car or not? Here comes Hamilton round the outside. It's Eau Rouge, man. Bloody scary. I don't want to be running side by side through there. Now we got the slipstream on Sainz, getting a double toe now from Räikkönen. Can we get him too? He hasn't got much of a front wing. Could be possible. Old soft compound tyres. Not going to work this time. But man, what a crazy Belgian Grand Prix. It's just wreck avoidance here in this race. It's very, very tense stuff, very exciting. Tyre wear is just non-existent at this point, still in the teens, I think. So there's plenty of life left to give in these tyres. We just need to utilise those. Can we go for a move here up the inside into the bus stop chicane? You bet we can. Very late under brakes. I think did we do a brake upgrade here? No, actually we got one coming our way for Spa, and
We're leading our teammate by 3.7 seconds.
sorry, we've got one heading our way for Monza, not Spa. But after this episode, I would hope to have another brake upgrade possibly in the future, as that would be just free performance, wouldn't it? But anyway, the engineer is saying that tyre wear is pretty good. He's extended my pit window by 1 lap, so we're going to stop on lap 14 potentially and make the tyres do a little bit less work at the end of the race, because even though I have done this strategy before, soft tyres still go off on the last lap or two, so extending this first stint should only help us, especially if the tyre wear on this tyre in particular isn't too bad. But here comes Raikkonen once again on the Camel Straight. He's going to get Sainz. I'm going to make sure that he doesn't get me. Thankfully he doesn't, and we're able to hold on to our current track position at the moment. Sainz fighting back with Raikkonen, and he gets himself back up into P12. But yeah, there we go. It's kind of annoying at the moment because Raikkonen, he's got a massively fast car. It's an absolute rocket in a straight line. Hasn't got any performance in the corners because of his damage, but it just means that he keeps putting us under pressure in this first sector. We absolutely leave him for dead in the middle sector, and he's not really attacking us heading into like Blanchimont and the bus stop chicane, because we've already got about a second's worth of gap at that point in the track. I'll show you guys a little bit later just how much time we make up, but it's always this spot because he makes up the time in sector 3, start finish straight, and then he's got the tow and the DRS all the way up the hill and into Les Combes. It just suits him down to a T. You can see the gap to Raikkonen here. We go through the middle sector and it's 8 tenths. So Raikkonen is a long way behind us going through the middle sector. We're able to keep him at bay, but just the nature of where his car achieves lap time puts him in the game heading into the second sector. But thankfully he's now stopped and we can actually get on with our race. But meanwhile, this is the battle up front. Lucas Weber on medium tyres. He's currently chasing down Max Verstappen for the race victory, who had a big undercut. He's actually pitted for hard compound tyres. So for the rest of this race, Verstappen is going to have it all to do trying to defend against his teammate on a softer compounded tyre. Magnussen, who has recently made his stop, having a little bit of a go at us into Pouhon. Thankfully, he didn't get the move done there. That is the difference between Raikkonen and the other Alfa Romeo, and Magnussen with a front wing that isn't damaged. That's the difference between the two of us. He's just got so much more pace in the middle sector that it just puts me under pressure absolutely everywhere. But anyway, this is our pit stop window lap. I'm actually thinking about staying out another lap. I know that probably sounds crazy to you guys, but the pace is actually pretty good at the moment. I had a little look at the race director, and I was only losing about 1 or 2 tenths to the likes of Devin Butler and, you know, Carlos Sainz, those guys who stopped many laps ago for their medium tyres. And so I may as well stay out. I'm running a pretty good pace here, but I just wanted to stay out this extra lap just to make doubly sure that I wouldn't have any tyre drop off on my softs towards the end of the race. But meanwhile, you see, we're having to defend against these guys, Hulkenberg and Magnussen, really trying to put us under pressure here at the dying stages of this medium compound tyre stint. We're coming into the pits on this lap. We've managed to weather the storm as we touch the inside curb there at Blanchimont. That is not good for my safety. Thankfully, we managed to catch that. Into the pit lane we go, and now we can have a nice attacking run to the end of the Grand Prix and not have to worry about tyre wear whatsoever. It's going to be a very short 6-lap stint, which the tyres should easily be able to do. But by doing this, I wasn't losing too much time at all. What I'm doing is I'm ensuring that I won't lose a position on the last lap, for example, because I have done this strategy even in 25% races online. I'm pretty sure I did this last season in career mode as well. But come the last lap or two, I really was suffering with tyre wear, but we are guaranteeing that that is not going to be a possibility today. Anyway, the gap to Sainz, it's quite large at the moment. I think it was like 5 seconds, so we've got a lot of time to make up, but thankfully we're going to be like 2 seconds a lap faster with our soft compound tyre, so we should be able to make up that gap pretty quickly, especially when you consider those ahead might potentially battle a little bit. they might have to save a bit of fuel. We have to do a little bit of that as well, but not too much. Toro Rosso is pretty good on its tyres. We've got the gap down now to 2.7 seconds. We improve by, well, 2 seconds compared to our previous best lap, so that is a massive delta to improve on, but we are, yeah, well and truly closing the gap.
The fastest lap at this point in time is a 1:41.7.
Ooh, okay, so that's not too bad. We're only 2 tenths away from the pace setter of Lucas Weber on his medium tyres. It's not too bad when you consider that the Red Bull is in an absolutely dominant state in the performance index. So I will certainly take that. If I can get some DRS or some slipstream, we might be able to challenge that number, but our you know, there's only a small window of opportunity where this tyre is going to be capable of even getting close to matching the Red Bull. It might have to be on this lap if we can get past Gasly and Sainz on this Camel Straight. If we get held up in the middle sector, that's going to be impossible. There is a little bit of an air gap to the next group of cars, which I believe is Lewis Hamilton. No, it's Devin Butler, sorry. He's the lead Ferrari today. But if we can get DRS or slipstream off of the next group of cars, then that would give me half a chance of getting a fast lap. We get past Gasly, we get past Sainz. Sainz doesn't have DRS, so that is a big rip for him. 4 tenths up in the first sector, and that is the kind of margin we need in order to challenge those pesky Red Bulls. But there we go. Like I said, that's the gap to the next group of cars. I haven't quite realized or clocked onto it just yet, but I think I get out of this corner, this left-hander, and then I'm like, I should really go for this, shouldn't I, if I want to get fastest lap? It'll give me an extra point, and it could prove crucial in the standings, especially if we want to catch, say, Lewis Hamilton, who is already double our points tally so far this season. But yeah, trying to make the inroads I can. The tyre at this point probably has lost a little bit of performance. It's not horrible, but it's not at its peak performance quite anymore. Probably would have lost maybe 2, 3, 4 tenths from its original optimal pace, if that makes sense. We get DRS on the next straight. I didn't get fastest lap. I did set a 1:41.6, but Lucas Weber is in the 41.5 or 4s at this stage. He's a couple of tenths faster. Sergio gets pit maneuvered, or shall I say, he gets reverse pit maneuvered, much like was happening to people on, I think, PS4 in my video yesterday. So it's quite funny that I come to this racetrack against single player bots and the exact same thing happens. So online players, AI players, it's the exact same thing, which I found quite funny to draw comparisons on. But anyway, it is the last lap of the Grand Prix. We've got some slipstream and DRS on Devin Butler. We're low on fuel, so we need to stick it right into lean. Actually stuck it into lean before I overtook him, because the situation is quite critical in order to make it to the end without losing the position. That is the key point to make. Yes, we could probably make it to the end of the race. However, we need to save up a bit of fuel so that we can run rich in the entirety of the third sector to keep Devin at bay. But meanwhile, this is the fight at the front. Lucas has finally caught up to his teammate, but it looks like it's going to be too little too late. Max is going to win 2 races on the bounce, and I don't think a Red Bull has quite done that in many races, meaning Max is going to have a big amount of ascendancy heading into the second half of the season. That could be a turning point for his championship. So far, it's been tit for tat. The 2 Red Bulls swapping the lead of the championship every single race. But for the first time in what has been like half a season, there is going to be a little bit of familiarity or stability in the driver's standings, at least on Max Verstappen's side of the garage. But here comes Devin Butler, last gasp attack for P8 in this Grand Prix, goes to the outside. I feel like I should have this covered off, and we do. P8 in this Grand Prix. Devin has gone from P1 to P9. Suck on them apples.
Good job, you did really well. Super driving.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
Okay, Crofty, I feel like you need to get a grip. You need to stop being surprised that Red Bull is winning every race. Worth mentioning again, Hulkenberg gets P3. Literally, these guys have been dominating the podium every single race this season, which is absolutely ridiculous. Again, Sebastian Vettel fumbling the bag. To be fair, he didn't have the best starting position. nor too did my teammate. He only gets P17. Really annoyed from my teammate's side of the garage. He got screwed over by a glitch, meaning he could have got himself out of Q1. Instead, he starts last, and I don't know, he doesn't make much progress. I think he started on soft, so that certainly didn't really help in trying to diversify yourself from the rest of the field. We made it work for us. We clung onto the slipstream of the cars ahead on faster tyres. We held out consistency-wise, and then at the end we had the pace at the end when it mattered to make those final overtakes to get inside the top 10. So another handy bout of points. Hopefully in the next race, in the Italian Grand Prix, my teammates can make a difference, but I really sound like a broken record at this point. Toro Rosso, I implore you to replace Danny Kvyat. Get Devin Butler in here if you need to. I don't know. We need someone who just has that race winning potential, or just that fire to be more competitive and not just to settle for safety of P17. He qualifies poorly. Raikkonen was a good teammate when I had him at Ferrari before he got ousted for Lewis Hamilton. Fun times. But anyway, that has been this Grand Prix for today. We are going to do some upgrades. We botched up the front downforce upgrade, which failed. And we're also going to do a brake upgrade heading into the Italian Grand Prix. So that should go on the car in time for that race. Braking performance is very strong there. Braking performance is very important there. So we should hopefully be pulling off many big boy dive bombs at the Italian Grand Prix, which I very much look forward to. But that's it from me today. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. Pretty crazy to say that, like, last episode, I was nearly ready to give up. If we had a bad race in Hungary, I could have well moved teams. But here we are, turning up in Spa, and things are finally starting to go our way. That was close. But anyway, until the next race, I'll see you next time.